GameStop stock news update, the short squeeze part 2. Okay, guys, so after Jerome Powell basically gave comments about the Fed not increasing interest rates for a while, it looks like GameStop stock just went absolutely nuts, guys. So obviously, this is basically backed off of the guy Roaring Kitty, the guy from Reddit under the username Deep Effing Value. He also said that GameStop stock was too undervalued at around $45. And like just before the trading session closed on Wednesday, we can see that there was some massive volume. So if you take a look at the volume here, if you guys can see that, it was basically just faint. Then all of a sudden after like 3 o'clock, it absolutely took off. So it even hit a after hours high of $197 per share and back to 146. So we're going to talk a little bit more about GameStop. What's really going on here? Is this basically what happened in January part 2? But before I get in this video, guys, I want to remind you to get your 2 free stocks over at Webull. You can simply click the link in the description below or head to investortrip.com/Webull. All you have to do is deposit at least $100 and you get up to 2 free stocks worth up to $1,815, guys. So make sure you grab your free stock. So let's get back into GameStop. So what's really going on here? Well, it looks like, after Roaring Kitty testified in regards to the whole GameStop saga, it looks like, back then people had just forgotten about GameStop, so they were moving on to some other volatile stocks out there, and this created a huge buying opportunity. So if you can take a look at the chart here, we can see that there was a lot of accumulation here basically for a couple of weeks, basically like 2 or 3 weeks. GameStop was just like not a lot of volume, not a lot of buying interest. And then boom, here we are again, a huge spike in volume. So what I actually ended up doing, I should have bought more shares, but I ended up buying a few shares during this period, but I got a little bit impatient and I didn't really catch, but I did catch a few shares at around like $51 or so right before it exploded. Wish I had bought more. But let's talk about what is going on with GameStop the second time around we've seen this short squeeze. Well, if we head over to high short interest stocks, we can see that obviously the short interest is way down on GameStop, but it is still quite a substantial amount. It's still one of the most shorted stocks on Wall Street. So a lot of people are still betting against it. But the good thing is that what we've seen a lot of people selling tech stocks, moving into these, these stocks have been crushed by the pandemic. So travel stocks, cruise stocks, stocks like GameStop, AMC, and that's caused a lot of buying interest. And of course, since the short interest is still pretty high, I also read somewhere that there was someone had entered a 1 million share short position as well. So I think the people on Reddit, and I just think after hearing the Jerome Powell news, after hearing Roaring Kitty say that GameStop was undervalued at $45, it just looks like all of these parts have come together and it spurred new interest in the GameStop. So now what can we do? We can look at what happened in the past and kind of learn from the past. So obviously, GameStop has not really improved at all as a company. The sales have been declining for a while, and even with the new, Ryan Cohen, he started Chewy and sold Chewy to PetSmart for over $3 billion, and now he's taking a big stake in this company. I think he took like a 12-13% stake in this company, and recently GameStop even let go of their CFO, so he's completely working with GameStop to kind of really shake up everything, change the way they do business, shake up management, everything. So this obviously was good news. So we just had a lot of good news so far this week. The getting rid of the CFO, interest rates are going to be staying low, and what Roaring Kitty said, the stock was simply undervalued, and that new short position of 1 million shares, guys. So all of this good information together put GameStop basically back on people's radar, and here we are. Here we are with a massive run up. So the stock is currently trading at like $140 after hours. It's up a ridiculous amount. Let's take a look at the gains of over 200% over the last day. So what am I going to be doing with GameStop this time around? So I think it's really important to realize that stocks will trade in the short run, will be a voting machine. In the long run, it will be trading like on earnings. It's more like a weighing machine. So even if GameStop hits around $200 or even $300 as we close out the trading week, Remember now that what goes up must come down. This stock is not trading at all based on fundamentals. The company has been bleeding revenue and really struggling. Although they did have a big boost in e-commerce sales over the last quarter, over the holiday season. But overall, the company is still struggling. But I do believe it's undervalued. So let's really take a look at what could happen. So we have a couple potential scenarios here. The first scenario is exactly what happened in January. Stock just shoots up, and then we could have another crash. But, you know, a lot of people have seen how the e-commerce brand is changing and getting rid of the CFO. It looks like they're really shaking things up in that C-level management. So these are all good signs. But for me personally, I'll be looking to definitely sell. So I hold a few shares of GameStop. I actually have GameStop and AMC. So like I said, last time I traded GameStop, I really didn't trade it properly. I ended up buying like at around 300 and then sold a little bit at 400 and then got greedy and tried to buy it again here, and then it simply ended up crashing. But the good thing is that, you know, I was trading with money that was in a super long-term account, so I won't need this money for the next 20 years or so I have no problems, you know, experimenting with this type of account because this is a very super long-term account. So what I think here is that the stock is up a ton in the after hours trading, which means that we're probably going to see it up again in pre-market, and it's probably going to rip much higher on Thursday's trading session. So if you haven't gotten into the stock yet, I still think there's time. I expect this big volume spike to happen probably until Thursday or Friday. Usually after 2 or 3 days, we'll see this spike, and then after that, things will kind of cool off. As we saw here, you know, if we go back to the chart here, basically there were 1, 2, 3 big days, and then after the 28th, you know, everything tanked. So like I said, I expect this, we'll probably tap this previous resistance. If we don't, then we'll definitely tap it here, so around 360, something like that. So I'm looking at kind of a couple of key levels. I'm pretty sure it'll blast past 200 pretty easily because it basically hit almost 200 in after hours trading, and most people don't trade you know, extended hours. So it could hit around 300 or so. If it hits around 350 or 360 or so, I'll probably look to take some profits. I don't want to be too greedy on this trade because, once again, it's not really trading on fundamentals. It's basically just trading on hype. And a lot of shorts are definitely going to be exiting the position as well, which is going to cause the price to shoot up a lot higher. But I just think it's really important for people to be very careful chasing this stock. So the time to buy GameStop was when it was trading in this zone right here. So, you know, like I said, if we look back at the previous chart back here, we can see that there was a couple key buying opportunities in GameStop. So the best one was probably here, where the stock was just in accumulation mode. Then you had another spike, then you had a dip here. That was a nice place to buy, and this was another buying opportunity as well. Once you kind of get up in this range, there's not as much upside, you know, and it's kind of chasing the fear of missing out. So I would say right here, obviously, I wish I'd bought more GameStop, but in hindsight, these stocks can crash just as fast as they go up. So never be discouraged that you didn't invest enough money. There's always going to be more opportunities down the road. You know, we got stimulus checks coming out. Another $1.9 trillion going to be pumped into the economy. A lot of that money is going to end up on Wall Street, just like the previous stimulus checks have. And now there's so many people with new trading accounts on Robinhood, Webull, Fidelity. I mean, even when I'm trying to talk to Fidelity, sometimes the wait times are 1 to 2 hours during market hours. So the demand is there. So there's going to be a lot more opportunities for short squeezes throughout 2021. This is the new era. You know, everyone's trading online now. Trading is basically free in almost all of these apps. So I wouldn't try to, you know, if you end up seeing GameStop and it soars up here, I wouldn't try to kind of fear of missing out and try to grab in here because it's just too much risk. You really want to, you know, basically buy it when no one wants it. That's where you're going to get the most upside. If you miss it, that can be okay. You don't necessarily want to chase, but I still think there's upside here. So like I said, my price target, I'll be looking for GameStop at around $350. That's where I'll probably be looking to cash out, take some profits, and just wait. Now, a couple of things you can do with this. If you're super aggressive, you can buy some call options. Call options are kind of perfect for a play like this. This is moving quickly, and you don't need a ton of money to invest because it can get very risky. And like I said, with people that ended up investing a bunch of money here, you ended up losing a ton in the past. The second way to play this stock is to simply, once it's going to hit a peak where Well, it really depends because last time GameStop was going to break out and then the brokers and Robinhood came in to restrict trading. So I don't see why they wouldn't do it again. If we see the stock continuously soar higher and higher, then most likely the brokerages will probably restrict trading again, and then you can buy put options. So I think that's an important play. If the brokers restrict GameStop again, buy put options, because they're basically going to do exactly what they did in January, stop people from buying it. I wouldn't be surprised if Robinhood did the exact same move they did in January. You know, if these hedge funds that are shorting these stocks like Citadel are losing a ton of money, you can bet that Robinhood is going to put more restrictions, and they have the right to. It's even in their terms of services. So, like I said, if you see restrictions up here, simply buy put options and ride the way down. But this spike here, there's nothing based on fundamentals. This is just another soaring fear of missing out, and then it should crash back again. But I could be wrong, guys. So this is just my point of view. You know, this stock isn't really moving on any numbers. There's no real changes in the revenue or anything like that. I do think that long term, once Ryan Cohen and gets a new management team in there and they start really working on building more things to do in their brick and mortar stores. You know, last time I went to GameStop, it was just so boring. You know, they need to do more. They need to have esports, you know, kind of connect with the esports community and have live gaming there and just make it an interesting place to visit so people are spending more time in the store instead of just buying video games. You want people to kind of linger around there, build a community. So I think those are a couple of things that GameStop can do. It'd be really interesting to see what happens with the stock. I'll be sure to publish more videos in the future. So if you guys enjoy my content, please smash the like button and hit the red subscribe button for more videos. And be sure to check out my private Discord and my daily Stock Watch newsletter. We'll be talking a lot about GameStop for tomorrow. So be sure to check that out. So that's it. Until next time, guys. Take care.